I just found everything I needed, like my Sony adapters to get the headphones in, and now I can finally um, get a micro SD card for my Sony Onco DXP X1, and start moving files over to it to finally test how good these audiophile grade headphones are. But anyways, I thought I'd show you that I am learning, and I'm continuing to finish today. And fortunately, I can't really run that damn AC in the background because it makes too much noise. So let's go to the GG, to the beginning, and then let's 512 G, Control G, 512 Control G. Oh god, no. See, there we go. See, it takes us right back to where we were. GG, 512G. GG, 512G. See, right there. All the way down to that portion of the line. It's so much quicker if you know exactly what line you need to go to, And you can get that information, obviously, by just doing Control G. And see that? It tells me 509. Type the following, type slash followed by a phrase to search for the phrase. In normal mode, the slash character, notice that it and the cursor appear at the bottom of the screen, as with the, now type, to go back to where you came from, press Control O. Let me think about that. There, and to go back to where you came from, press Control O, Control down by pressing the letter O. place the cursor at any... Oh wow. J... all the way at the bottom. So G, 20. Are you kidding? Move the cursor to the line below marked. Okay. No. There we go. Type. There we go. Cool. Right on. And so that's your lesson 4 summary. I'm just moving it towards the top where I prefer it. By the way, so Control G displays your location in the file and the file status. G moves to the end of that file. Number G, capital G. Okay, so you need right. Okay, damn. You need to push 2 at the same time. So yeah, that typing backwards, especially for the phrase. Oh god, this is gonna be so cool. So much better than other text editors. I mean, Jesus Christ, I can't imagine, like, holy fuck, man. God damn it, though, I can't pause recording on this. I gotta go get a drink. I hope you stay with me. I gotta fill up my cup. Soda. Get something to, refreshments. I'm so sorry that I have to get up in the middle of the recording, but I'll be back. I'm working this. Unfortunately, OBS doesn't seem to have a really easy ability to pause a video in the middle of recording. I really dislike it. I wish I had some better video editing skills to just cut this part out, but I don't know how to do that sort of thing. When I will probably, keeping this in mind, start to research that, but yeah, sorry. I am basically back here now. Thank you for your patience. So I wanted to check something. So okay, 520 Control Shift G. That's not working right. Control. Alright, there we go. Typing slash followed by the phrase searches forward for a phrase, typing backwards after a search type N to find the next occurrence in the same direction and or control on in the opposite direction. Control O takes you back to older positions, Control I to newer positions. And typing the percentage sign where the cursor is on A goes to its matches to substitute for the first old in a line type, old new for all olds on a line type /G to substitute for phrases. 2 lines between 2 lines percentage type, percentage 1 and percentage 2 S, old lines, old new G, all occurrences of the file type, percent old, colon percent S / old. So what you wanted before, what you wanted after, and /G. To S for confirmation each time, add C. How to execute an external command. We can move on to lesson 5. Type followed by an external command to execute that command. Type the familiar command to set the cursor at the bottom of the screen. This allows you to enter a command line, enter command. Now type. This allows you to execute an internal shell command. There's an example of this. Type ls. The listing of your directory, just as if you were at the shell prompt. Use if ls works. When I'm in DOS, sometimes I have to remember, since I'm a weird Windows Linux hybrid type creature who uses both. I have to remember to switch between dir and ls -a. Like, seriously, it's a weird quirk to have, but yeah, it's a thing with me. I have to force it. I like how PowerShell programmed ls in, but it doesn't have ls-a. That's kind of crap. More on writing files. To save the changes to text, type w file name. So type that, or to get a listing of your directory, if you already know, you must hit enter after this. Choose a file name that does not exist yet, such as test. Now type wtest. Alright. If you were to exit Vim and start it again with Vim test, the file would give you an exact copy of the tutor when you saved it. Now remove the file by typing, or if you were able to exit Vim and start it again with Vim test, the file would be alright. So now remove the file by typing rm test. Oh man, there's a story with all that, but I don't want to share it with the web. Selecting text to write. To save part of the file, type v motion w file name. Move the cursor to this line. Press V and move the cursor to the 5th line and below. Press the W character at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, right. 459 to Q. Control D. 458. Alright, Control Q. Got it. Vim Tutor. Pressing V starts visual selection. You can move the cursor around to make the selection bigger or smaller. Place the cursor just above this line. After executing step 1, you see text from 5.3, then move down. Now retrieve your text file using command R. I think lesson 6 is the very last one, so let's go to the top. W file name writes the file name. V R retrieves R thread. O to open below the cursor and place you in circle. Cursor is placed on the open line. Type O to open a line below the cursor and place you in insert mode. Okay. Ha ha, got it. Insert text after the cursor. Alright. Type A to insert text after the cursor. Press E until the cursor's at the end of LE. Type A lowercase. You can put the line below it. Oh, wait. Take the capital letter and to replace my own character. Now press R. Oh my god. Use the Y operator to copy text and P to paste it. Move to the start visual mode of V and move the cursor to I'm getting it. I'm not entirely sure, but let's move on. Set option. Set option is search a substitute ignores case. Search for ignore by saying /ignore, enter, repeating it several times. No search for okay, cool. Set the HL search. Oh wow. Ha ha. All right, cool. No HL search. HL search. HLIS. Oh no. a comprehensive test getting help. The most comprehensive online help system to get started training with these three. Press the help key if you have one. Press the F1 key if you have one. I don't really have a help key, I don't think. But press help. Read the text in the help window to find how help works. Type Control W to jump from window to a window. Type Q to close the help window. Create a startup script. Enable Vim features. Vim has more features than Vi, but most of them are disabled by default. To start using more features, you should create a vimrc file. To start editing the vimrc file, this depends on your systems. And then it says the vimrc for Unix, which is the one I would need even though it's subsystem. Damn. Now, run the example vimrc file contents, completion works for many commands to strip us. It's not working. I have no idea why. Command line completion with Control D. Yeah, that's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Well, anyways, that, didn't really do what I thought it would do, I guess, because I'm not actually on Unix. But anyways, there we go. This concludes Vim Tutor. It was intended to be a brief overview of the Vim editor, just enough to allow you to use the editor fairly easily. It's far from complete, as Vim has many more commands. Read the user manual next. Help user manual for further reading and studying. This book is recommended. Vim Vi improved. Oh god, I should. Damn, man. I can't believe I'm showing you this part of it, but here we go. Now let's see what the one person below is saying. Comment. Outline is not available. Not good. So let's go back. No comment, so let's see. I'm gonna have to read this over the next couple of days, but I finally finished it. The tutorial, I'm so much better at Vim now than I started. I'm getting used to it. The key mapping is starting to make sense because you got the left and the right on far opposite ends. So like the H, is on the far left side of the the four things that you do, and then the L is on the far right. So the H is on the far left, and the L is on the far, so that's, if you look at your keyboard when you're doing this, that's, a QWERTY keyboard, just for reference for those of you who aren't on, computers. But, and then, J is down and K is up, so that whole A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L row on the keyboard, right? So, H, J, K, L is your, movement keys, and, it's mapped in that sort of way where, H is, the far, it makes you move left, and L makes you move right, and J makes you move down, and K makes you move up. And, I've gotten used to that. I've got that key map in my head now, I'm getting more and more used to it. At this point, it's turning into sort of a muscle memory sort of thing. I won't be thinking about it soon. It'll be pretty fun to try to play Vim Adventures after this, and actually doing it this way, because it just seemed like this was a lot easier to figure out how to do than Vim Adventures was. It was hard to play all the time, but I'm done. It's been a good long while on video, but yeah, no, we're done. Finally complete. I can now confidently say I'll probably be much more able to use this, and I feel that the modal text editor features are just awesome. I don't think there's anything that parallels it on Windows. Everybody's all Notepad plus plus and all this other shit, and it's lame. Because what if I'm dealing with a massive text file, right? Hypothetically, what if it's a very, very, very big one, and there's a lot of options on it, and it's a configuration file, and there's some setting that needs to be edited, maybe toggled on and off in a config file, and it's, the piece of code that needs to be edited is like 400, 500 lines of code down in the damn thing, and there's no easy way to go directly to it, except to just type out the command and, hit, control, shift G to go directly to, that line, and then you can, use things to get wherever you need in the line pretty quickly to, the commands to get wherever you need in that line to edit whatever you need pretty quickly and change it and toggle, back and forth on the, it saves you time. And, that might not... Somebody might sit here and be like, well, that would only save you just a couple of minutes or a couple seconds of time. But what they don't think about when they think that something about that is that that's cumulatively, they don't think about that aspect of it where it's like, yeah, over a lifetime, like it adds up over time, being able to edit text files very, very quickly. So that's what makes Vim very very nice and useful. So basically, it's a modal text editor, and there's this this aspect of it where there's an insert mode, there's a replace mode, there's a navigation mode. Normal mode is just helping you move around and get where you need to go in the files, and then insert is to actually edit them, and replace is obviously to replace bad text that is inaccurately entered. And yeah, it's nice. It's a very useful utility in the form it's in, and obviously I don't know everything there is to know about Vim RCs yet, but I look forward to learning. And it's been I would like to make a shout out at the end of this to YouTuber Mental Outlaw for inspiring all of this. Believe his name is Kenny. I don't know. Forget what his name is. Is it Kenny? I don't know. Anyways, so I'm way more of an urbanist than he is and everything, and I'm like a left winger, not really a dog of the right, but I do find myself I think I find myself inspired by the fact that a lot of them seem to be, we wouldn't have these things if Europe hadn't forced these things down Apple's throat, and passed these policies. So it may be that these guys don't consider themselves members of the left, but they support policies that those of us on the left are thrilled by at an individual policy level. And this goes back to a lot of the theories that I've peddled and thought about in politics a lot, which is that people, they have this sense of identity, right? They think that they're members of the Republican Party, that's what they identify as. But sometimes if you pull them issue by issue by issue, they'll find themselves identifying with the positions of the Democratic Party. It's crazy. It depends on how you ask the question and everything. A lot of people politically identify as one thing, and they're not actually that one thing that they think they identify as, and it's a case of mistaken identity on their part, their own identity. They don't know themselves as well as they think they do politically, and that happens a lot. It's like if you were to examine like I would actually encourage everybody when it comes to politics to examine the actual policy positions of the politicians that in the party that they currently are supporting, and ask themselves, do I really truly align with the principles that this party in its current form is representing? And you may find yourself, in a boat where, after you consider what, when you look it up and you research it and you see what the parties actually support, that you're more of a Democrat than you thought. Just saying.